Everybody poops. Yes, I said poop. The problem is you're probably not pooping enough if you are a high performing executive woman. Why? Because we aren't paying attention to our gut intelligence. And that gut intelligence is data. It's actually driving whether you have enough energy to perform at your highest level. And this is something no one is talking about in these corporate women's streets. It's not likely that you're going to hear an entire session or panel on gut intelligence. That's why we are bringing this to you, the Rise Advocates Movement. Why? Because we're exploring what's called our Executive Biology Audit. And if you are an executive level woman, or you are a corporate leader or within an employee resource group within a corporation, you need to pay attention to this video because you're going to find out how you can increase your energy exponentially by following what your poo is telling you. Okay? I'll see you on the inside. Let me paint a picture for you. It's about 2:15 p.m. You're feeling a little sluggish. By this time, if you are an executive woman or a high achieving woman in corporate, you probably have had a couple coffees. You may have had a couple sips of water, if that, and you are feeling like you are about to crash. And that simply is your gut raving a white flag that we need some help down here, right? Because most of us aren't thinking about the fact that our gut is our second brain. Have you ever heard of that? Yeah, your gut is your second brain. There are so many different types of receptors in our gut area, our lymphatic system, everything is in our gut. And to the extent that you have a very healthy gut microbes, these are little, I would say, Pac-Mans within your gut that know how to take the food that you eat and decipher it to get it to the right areas. Will you be efficient? Now, what I do know for sure is that corporate women, we're not talking about this. And I'm just going to keep this real. I have worked with women who say, I don't like drinking a lot of water because that means that I have to take breaks to go to the bathroom. This is when I always tell women, raise your right hand and say, I am not a robot, right? I am not a robot. Because what's contributing to your lack of energy, to these crashes that happen typically between 2 and 4, which is somewhat natural. But what's also natural is that you should be pooping at least between 3 times a day or 3 times a week. Now, if you aren't pooping at least 3 times a week, then you have constipation. Not only constipation within your gut, but I'm also going to say constipation in your brain. And a lot of menopausal women, because here in these Rise Advocate streets, we are talking to perimenopause, menopausal women. These are women 40 and up who are in corporate. And unfortunately, we have the wrong viewpoint on what it means to be a high achieving, high performing woman. And what I want to share with you today is a hack that is going to give you the highest amount of energy that you have ever received. Now, for some of you who are like, I am intrigued, but I'm also weirded out, get over it because everybody poops. Say it with me. Yes, that's right. I used to tell people when I was teaching, and I still teach about this speaking, when you're speaking with in front of a lot of people and you're feeling a little intimidated, one of the things I always tell people is to say, everybody's human. Everybody goes into that bathroom and has to let out all of the crap that it's not needed in our system. And that is such a healthy thing. And just know that we're all on the same playing field. We are all human and we all have to go through that. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't talk about and tie biology to your executive level performance. And that's exactly what we do here in the Rise Advocates movement, and heavy emphasis on move because we need to be moving. See, because also too, I'm going to go back to that story. Most people by 2:15 in the PM, like I said, you've had a couple cups of coffee, maybe a couple sips of water, and you have likely sat for about 5 hours straight. And those all contribute to a stall in your energy. So I want to share with you, for you, if you're new here, my name is Diana Patton. I am the authentic power strategist. Obviously, authenticity brings us to talk about this thing called poop. And I work with executive women, helping them to know how to use their authenticity in a way that allows you to perform at the highest level within your organization, having a healthy body, mind, and spirit. What we do is we have a 12-week amazing program called the Rise Advocates Academy. And we have our Rise 53 Inner Circle where we meet weekly and we talk about these subjects. Here recently, we've been diving into what's called our Executive Biology Audit. And we know that when you get your metabolic activity together, meaning your digestive health, there's no stopping you. Seriously. So I want to break this down because I want to give you a little bit more science, some education, and then I want to give you some things to think about as you are going through this review. And I would like to call it this your digestive health audit, which is in our metabolic audit quadrant. We have 4 quadrants within the executive biology audit. And this is in the area of digestive health. Just to kind of give you a little background, I am a former civil rights attorney, former corporate executive. And before diving into a lot of those areas, I actually went to a school called Integrative Nutrition because I wanted to learn more about health and nutrition. So I went into this school for 2 reasons. Yes, to learn about health and nutrition, but also because my son was suffering from eczema, and he was about 3 or 4 years old. And I was told by his doctor that he's going to have to just get on this cortisol, this anti-inflammatory to help his skin. But I'm thinking, isn't there another alternative? The other reason why I went to this school is, so I went to the school obviously for my son, but I also went to this school because I suffered from really bad gas. Yes, I said it, gas. I thought everybody had gas after they ate. Now, I did not connect the fact that I grew up in a very stressful home. My father was abusive, and I never ever connected the dots that my stomach, my gut area, was my second brain, meaning that all of the issues that I deal with mentally were affecting my gut. So when I went to this school, 2 things happened. One, I learned how to help my son overcome eczema. Now that's a whole another chapter. We're not going to go through that today, but stay tuned in these videos because you will learn about that in one of our videos. But for now, I want to share with you that I learned why I had really bad gas, and I also learned how to overcome that as well as increase my energy. A lot of people don't get the fact that, and they ask me all the time, where do you get your energy? Well, one of the things I will tell you is that I am very consistent in the pooping department. I have very good digestive health. And that digestive health, that quantifies my energy impact. And I have to let you know that if there's one hack that you really need to get really good at, it's this, it's gut health. Because your second brain is going to come alive inside of your body, and you're going to have a circadian rhythm, a rhythm within your system that you're going to know what's triggering you to be able to excavate this stuff that should not be inside of your body. So I want to share also another story with you that after I received my certification from integrative nutrition, I'm a former athlete and I got the beautiful opportunity of traveling with the NBA, that's the National Basketball Association Development League. And my role in traveling with this league was to help the players that were in this community learn how to perform at the highest level. And so my job was to teach about nutrition. And the title of my talk was what is my what is my P telling me and what is your poo telling you? Yes, that was the title. And I always love talking about this because I always would reference why, when you're pooping regularly, and the type of poop, we're not going to get into the details of all this, but I do have a podcast for you to listen to. But why that then equates to a higher amount of energy and the ability for you to be able to use that 45 minutes when they were on the court at the most efficient level, and how to actually create a circadian rhythm where they were excavating, pooping right at the time when they needed that big energy boost. Now, I want to just share right out of the bat, right out of the gate. Now that we're friends and we can talk deep about poop, um, what do you feel like after you poop, right after you go to the bathroom? Right. You feel a healthy amount of energy. Now, some of you aren't excavating the correct way. That's because a lot of you aren't taking in fiber. Yep, that's right. A lot of us are not at all thinking about that because remember my 215 story? It's likely a lot of you are carrying around protein bars. Right. You're eating protein bars. And I want to tell you what is yes, protein is good. Don't get me wrong, but there's absolutely no fiber in that. A lot of you are drinking a lot of juices. You're eating, sipping on your smoothies, right? But often they don't have a high amount of fiber in them. What is fiber going to do? Obviously, you probably know this from the commercials that you see, that fiber is going to create the amount of push needed. The biome is going to actually work for you, these little Pac-Mans for you, to bulk up the food and create the amount of necessary slide potential to come out. That is just the beauty of fiber. It's also going to be able to give your body the energy it needs in order to be able to push that out. So often, most people do not have fiber in their diet, and that is part of the reason why they're dealing with this constipation and they aren't able to excavate properly. Now, I'm going to read to you from our Rise 53 Inner Circle newsletter. Just to give a little commercial here, our Rise 53 Inner Circle, you heard me reference this earlier, is our monthly continuity program where every single month, executive women come together. We talk about topics like this because every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, they're getting a newsletter where they're reading these bits of information. They're just like little teeny weeny coaching circles that gives you just a drop of information that you can literally run with. And then every single Friday, we come into our inner circle and we meet, we talk, and we learn and we grow. Isn't that the best way? Because oftentimes a lot of us don't have 2, 3, 4 hours to listen to a podcast or all these hours to read all these books. I've already done that for you and created the Rise 53 Inner Circle where we come together reading these amazing newsletters that I'm going to read to you right now. That's written from our director of communication, Yanaya Curry. So I want to tell you three things that we want you to know more about. One is fiber, right? This is your microbes are basically like a breakfast club. Feed them the good stuff: fruits, vegetables, and legumes. Say that with me. Fruits and very little fruits, by the way. More heavy on the vegetables and legumes, and fruits being last. Why? Because a lot of us are dealing with insulin issues. whole nother topic of conversation, but heavy on the legumes, heavy on the vegetables, primarily the cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage. Those are the ones I want to emphasize because what they're going to return to you is more energy and clarity. The second thing I need you to know is hydration. A lot of you do not still drink enough water. And I want to encourage you to drink water first thing in the morning. Like right when you get out of bed, after you go to the bathroom, sit down, or even before, sit down, drink a glass of water, preferably if it's, some people are like get grossed out if the water sits overnight. Okay. Um, or you can go get yourself a water from the refrigerator. Whatever it is, you should drink water before you drink your morning coffee. And there's so much science behind that. But hydration is critical, not only first thing in the morning, but throughout your day. You should be drinking water all throughout your day. So, the water is literally what's called your gut's Wi-Fi. Without it, signals slow, systems lag, and yes, your poop becomes the opposite of productivity. That's why hydration is critical. The third thing is small interventions. Even a pinch of gut friendly spice or what's called prebiotic food can repair damage. Um, and that prebiotic food, I'm going to tell you the biggest prebiotic food I think is amazing, and that is kimchi and sauerkraut. So good for you, so amazing for you. Oh, because it's going to help you repair damage, boost your microbes diversity, and give your body the green light to operate at full capacity. So I want to share those things with you because those are three things that you can implement right now. What are you going to do? You're going to reduce the brain fog. You're going to reduce the fatigue, these midday energy crashes, which are going to come, but they don't come as quickly and last less often. They are going to increase your clarity and, of course, increase your ability to make decisions faster because you're going to be operating on all cylinders. So, I want to be able to share a couple other things with you through our what we are sharing in our Rise 53 inner circle newsletter. Um, and that is because if you are just joining us now, you need to understand the importance of movement. One of the things that I have done that has helped me exponentially in increasing my energy is this. After you eat, after you eat a meal, I would encourage you to take 15 to 20 minutes to go for a walk. Yes, that's right. 15 to 20 minutes to go for a walk. One, it's going to get your digestive system working better for you. Secondly, it's going to decrease the insulin glucose spike, right? Because your glucose is going to be used as energy as opposed to having it be sitting into your deepening your visceral fat. And it's going to also make you feel so much better. A lot of people, after they eat, they feel very, very tired. Why? Because it takes a lot for digestion to occur. And digestion takes a lot of energy. That's the reason why when you feel sick or you feel overwhelmed, the last thing that you want to do, well, some people, when they're overwhelmed, want to eat a lot. But when you are sick, most people don't want to eat. Why? Because that ghrelin, which is gives you those cravings, that is meant to shut down because the body knows that it needs to heal, right? And digestion takes a lot of effort, which is part of the reason why when I get ready to speak or when I'm getting ready to do something at a high level that might cause me to like feel like I got a big output, the last thing I want to do is eat because it's going to make me feel groggy and slow down. So the way to overcome that is to actually, right after you eat, within like 10 minutes after eating, I would say go for a walk. We like to call this within the Rise with Diana community and our Rise Advocates movement, we like to call that movement snacks. It's where you take little snacks of time and you use that to move. And in our last episode, we were talking about movement maps, creating time in your day, mapping out your day to figure out when you can actually implement movement snacks. Go back to that previous episode to listen to it because I believe it will help you deeply. Now, I want to give you some resources in case you want to go deeper into this subject. And I would suggest that you do take time to do that. I'd like to give you a reference to a person that you can actually do a deeper dive in listening to this podcast. And it's by the Diary of a CEO. I have been finding that I mean, Stephen Bartlett and your team, you all do a great job of the Diary CEO. And I'm going to actually link this podcast into the show notes. It's with Dr. Will Buzz, Buzzowitz. Buzzowitz. I am not saying this correctly, but I'm going to go ahead and spill it. Okay. It's B as in boy, ULSIEWICZ. I can hear you guys screaming the proper name. Good. Thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that. But the title of this podcast that Dr. Will is on is called The Poo Doctor. The cheap spice This cheap spice fixes a damaged gut. Now, I will tell you one of the spices that I use often in my protocol is cinnamon. Cinnamon has one of those things that helps boost my energy and it makes me feel warm inside. Ginger is another one that really, really is good. I want to tell you about another doctor who talks about this, and this is Dr. Vonda Wright. She also is a gut health expert, and she talks about gut diversity, repairing damage, and improving digestion. And she too talks to a lot of women about women's health. So I want to give those to you. But I want to tell you about the neurological side of things is that when you are super stressed, overwhelmed, consistently pushing yourself, your gut will be impacted by that. Again, because of the many different microbes that are happening within your gut and all of the different type of neurodiversity that's happening, the lymphatic system, which is there to help clean out your system, all of that gets impacted. Why? Because your vagus nerve goes from your brain all the way down to your gut. And because we don't have time to go into the details of the vagus nerve, what we know, and this is proven scientifically and biologically, that your nervous system is all connected. So, to the extent that your nerves are on 10 all the time, trust and believe that your digestion will be affected. So it's really critical for you as that executive woman who wants to consistently perform at the highest level, especially during menopause. It's critical that you work on your stress reduction. Obviously, going for these walks, taking breaks, drinking your water, repeating affirmations, telling yourself who you are, surrounding yourself with people who encourage you is critical. That's the reason why we have our Rise 53 inner circle so that you can actually pull away during your day on a Friday to connect with people who are talking about these types of subjects. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? This is critical. So, my question to you is this: what is your poo telling you? All right. So, some things that I want you to think about. How often do you go? How often? Is it 3 times a day? Is it at least 3 times a week? If not, we need to get that in check. And you can do the things that we talked about in this video. The second thing I want you to do is look at your poop. Obviously, It kind of goes without saying, but I need to say this because if you pay attention to Dr. Will's video, he goes into detail about what the poop looks like and what it's telling you, right? So if your poop is in this circle, this S kind of shape, and it's bulky, that's good. That means that you're getting the poop out, right? In a very effective way. And I am telling you, as someone who would probably be a closet poop aficionado, I have those types of poops and the energy is on 10. And I am telling you, when I used to talk to the athletes, they knew exactly what I was talking about. I want you as a high performing executive level woman to understand the same. Look at your poop, pay attention to it. You know, it's telling you, it's giving you signs about, oh, I need to increase my fiber. Oh, I need to drink more water. I likely need to move more, right? Or, maybe I'm drinking too much coffee, right? Coffee is a diuretic and it can have an impact upon your digestive system. Oh my gosh, my stress is always high. I can see it's always high. It's affecting my output. That's why you need to pay attention to it. And after you understand how often you go or not go, what it's telling you by the way it looks and its consistency, and then you can start to implement a protocol that is going to help you improve your metabolic panel. Okay. This is why it's critical. If you lead an employee resource group or you're talking about women's health, you got to start talking about stuff that really matters. This is a secret sauce. This is biointelligence. This is telling you how to get high performing. And the only reason why we don't talk about this and other things like menopause is because you need to get over yourself. You're embarrassed by it. And it's like, stop, because this is something that we need. We are not robots. And we also need to tell ourselves that we are our own full time job. The best thing that you can help any person, doesn't matter, male, female, you need to be able to tell them about how they can work with better biology. That is a gift that will keep giving. So, and that's what we want to do here in our Rise Advocates movement. So, was this helpful to you? If this was helpful to you, please, can you like this video? Can you share it with someone? Can you subscribe to our podcast? These are what we'd like to call authentic power strategies that is going to, this is the authenticity I'm talking about because, I mean, who better than an authentic power strategist to talk about poop? Because everybody poops, just not enough. All right. Or in the right way. So please like, subscribe, share this. If you want to dive deeper and you are an executive woman, you fall within that 40 plus area, probably dealing with perimenopause, menopause, it's likely that the academy is a good fit for you. But let's figure that out and see if we both are a good fit by filling out the application to see if this is going to be good for you. The other opportunity that we have is the Rise 53 Inner Circle, which is our it's our weekly continuity program that we believe will be helpful to you. We vet everyone to make certain that the space is right for you. All right. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you took time to be with me until the end of this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.